Hey, everybody. I know that, you're tuning in and you're like, Anya, psst, there's a dark screen. I'm gonna get to all of that. But first, I am Anya Farber. I am your host of this podcast, which was formerly Talk Israel, Real Talk Israel, because we talked real about Israel. Aval, my favorite word in Hebrew. But in the last podcast, we unveiled with the Bow sisters. Oh my God, how much do we love them? They were so freaking cute. We unveiled our brand new name, Zionist AF, because I'm your host, Anya Farber, because I am Zionist AF, and unapologetically, I'm also unapologetically, into democracy and freedom. Just saying. This is like a little hint for today. But today, I was kind of just a little nervous, and I have to kind of give the little background before we meet our guest today. Now, our guest is Angry Mom, and we will refer to her as such, Angry Mom. Aval, but let's remember, Angry Mom isn't like, crap, I stayed out too late and my mom is angry. No, this is about moms who are like, I am not this is no, not on my watch. Hell no. Okay? We need to take back our American values. And so I happened to see a post, and this is when social media is beneficial and the algorithms are in my favor. And I see this post of this amazing, strong, beautiful, angry mom who is saying, all it takes is an angry mom who loves her Jewish friends. And she's like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to look at this crap at the place where I got my education. And she took down the, let's call them what they are, terrorist supporting pro-Hamas signs. Okay? And she did something that I think a lot of people in America might want to do and maybe are a little intimidated. I mean, who wouldn't be intimidated by these people? I mean, first of all, you don't know who they are because they're covering their face. Second of all, they scream and yell. And third of all, I don't know if they all drank some sort of Dr. Seuss Kool-Aid, because everything they scream rhymes. And I don't know why that is, but maybe because when you're just rhyming, it's easier to remember, and they're all too stupid, but I'm not really sure. On that note, I want to introduce Angry Mom. But before she says hello, I feel that I'm going to play this song because I feel like this is kind of where we're at. Throwback to because we're not going to take it anymore. So, Angry Mom, in Hebrew, when, you get annoyed when, whether it's like something like this or, your child is like, mom, 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 and you're like, what? But Ivri, they might be like, must speak, like, okay, enough. But then when they're really angry, they're like, die. But die doesn't mean like D-I-E, like I want you to stop living. Die's like, that's it. It's like the dad that yells, that's it. Back in the day when your parents used to actually scold you and possibly hit you, and maybe dad took off the belt or something. But I think that we're saying we're not going to take it anymore. We are reclaiming the values of this country that we live in. And we need to do that. So, Angry Mom, seriously, like this, I'm not a fangirl today. I don't care. It's such a privilege to have you on the program today.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. It is. It's a huge privilege to be here and tell a little bit of my side of the story. And, first of all, yes, I went to Northwestern, as did my father before me. And now my daughter will be the first generation of our family amongst those who went to college. My grandparents were like Great Depression era. She will be the very first generation of our family from my side to not attend Northwestern. I will not even allow her to apply. 100%.
Now, that's that's a big statement. And
It
there's a
is.
lot of mixed emotions that you must have with that because, like you said,
Yes.
my father went there, I went
Yes.
there, but I will not even allow
No.
my daughter. Now, I know why, but I think it's important to
Mhm.
share why. I mean, you are taking a stand in kol kavod, we would say in Hebrew, good job, for
Thank you.
saying, I'm
Yes.
willing to stand up and say something. So
Yes.
we have to.
Yes.
So
Yes.
tell us kind of like, you know,
100%. I know Northwestern has been for quite some time, and I really think it started in 2007 when they opened their branch in Qatar. And again, I'm making air quotes. I know you can't see, but I think it's
hold on,
almost more
go ahead. Their
branch.
branch.
Yes. I think the quote branch in Qatar is almost more like a headquarters. Since 2007, and I'm glad you're sitting down, Northwestern has received 600 million, and that's what's published from
This is what
Qatar.
I feel like just happened.
Yeah,
Don't worry, I didn't
yeah,
let it hit the floor. I didn't let it hit the floor. I
absolutely.
would never.
I know you didn't. No, it's insane, and I've just slowly seen Northwestern and the surrounding community of Evanston embrace woke values. And even to the tune of the community of Evanston, where Northwestern is located, recently approved reparations. The taxpayers are going to be paying reparations for slavery. And again, this is a quote from Candace Owens, who you might know. She
Okay.
said, maybe I live in a box, but I've never met anyone who was a slave or owned a slave in my lifetime. Maybe
Um,
I'm just, but Northwestern really is. And you can also see it. Northwestern is located in a very beautiful area, and that's really the
it's
only
a
beautiful thing about it. It's gorgeous,
beautiful campus. Now,
gorgeous.
and by I would say at the very least, like 20 years ago, I think
Hmm.
not where it is now, but
Right.
I think you brought up a very important point. Yes, there's a lot of nonsense going on in this country, and like
Yes.
this huge, like, yes, education, much like everything else, is a
Yeah.
pendulum and it swings back and
Mhm.
forth. But like we have
Mhm.
lost our minds, and like those
We've
little
lost our
balls that
minds.
hit each other have like, like I
Yes.
don't know what's going on, but people have lost their ever loving minds, and
Lost their
uh,
minds.
on both sides, and people are so divided and so angry, and this
Yes.
victim mentality is just nonsensical. But
It
there's
is.
something really, really important that you brought up, and I urge anyone who went to a university in the United States to, hey guys, there's this crazy thing called Google. It's a
Yeah.
search engine. I know we're
Right.
joking because we were talking about when well, I'm dating myself, but yes, when Google first came out, I remember when Google first came out. That's fine.
Yes,
Age
me
is a
too.
number.
It is.
Um, you could Google stuff, and
Yes.
Google's not always right. I mean, Lord knows that whole like Google AI thing was what
Well,
a cluster
craziness.
F that was.
I know.
That was really funny.
But
But you
you're
can look
right.
stuff up. You
Yes.
can go to other search engines. I
Yes.
mean, Wikipedia, but anyway, there are places that you could look stuff up. Also, there are things, a certain amount of things that are public record,
Yes.
and you can see how much
Mhm.
money universities are getting from other countries.
You
Now,
can.
my alma mater, which I will not, well, you know what? Screw them. Emerson, you
Yeah.
suck. I
Yeah.
used to be so proud to have gone there. You
I
suck. Now,
know.
I saw, okay, I never saw a hint of what is going on now.
Mhm.
But in retrospect, because angry mom, hindsight is 2020.
Hindsight's 2020.
While I was working for the Israeli government
Mhm.
as a media and public affairs officer at the Consulate of New
Mhm.
England in Boston, shout out Consulate of New England, Boston.
Yay.
Uh, I was taking grad classes at Emerson because I
Mhm.
was like, "Oh, I'm here, and I love this place, and I was so proud of my education." And so I was like, "Yeah, I'll take
Fantastic.
grad classes in international communications." I mean, who would have thought? Like, makes
Yes.
sense, right? And in my class was one of the 80,000 princes from Saudi Arabia. And
Wow.
yeah, and so like I won't look, I respect people's lives enough
Mhm.
to not say his name. Though I think it's
There you
probably
go.
like,
You could
it's like
probably
saying
Google it.
Christopher,
Yeah.
Michael,
Yeah.
and like three people will turn around in a crowded room. It's probably
Yeah.
true. But I've never been to Saudi Arabia, nor do I plan to. But there was like this odd like influx of stuff. And then
Mhm.
all of a sudden he offered to take my entire grad class to Saudi Arabia with him. And
Oh,
And
wow.
there's me sitting in class going, I mean, there wasn't a lot of us. I think there was like 10, 15 of us.
Yeah.
I mean, but sorry, I don't roll like the Saudi,
Yeah.
rolling in oil money
Yeah.
family, but
Yeah.
I was like, we'll call him Bob.
Bob. Okay.
I
Prince
said,
Bob.
Bob, I'm not going with you. And he was
Mhm.
like, no, Anya, everything will be fine. I'm like, Bob, what do I do every day before I come to school at night? And he's like, whatever. I'm like, yeah, I work for the Israeli government.
Yeah. There you
I'm
go.
I'm
I'm not
not
going.
I'm not coming.
Right?
And I remember telling them at work about this, and they just
Yeah.
started laughing. They're like, "You don't think you're going, do you?" And I was like, I go, "Do you think I want to go? Because I want to
No.
live, and I'm
Right?
sure as hell not abiding by all like this nonsense,
Right?
or pretending to be certain things."
Yeah. 100%. I'm
Um,
so glad.
and I was like, I told him when people can live freely
Yeah.
as who they are and love who they want and
Yes.
openly say things like they think. I'm not
Right.
saying like scream fire in a crowded room. No,
Of
I'm saying like
course.
I believe this. I want this. I love this person. When you can say those things in your country,
Right.
then I'll come.
There you go.
And needless to say, obviously I didn't go, and I was really glad
Yes.
because that same week it was that school of the girls' school that burned down, and they didn't let the girls out because they didn't have their heads covered. So all these all these kids, yeah, you
Oh,
can look it up, guys. It's
right?
not a false narrative.
I
Um,
know.
by
Not
the way, that's my
taken.
dumb protester voice.
I love it.
But
Well, yeah.
I saw it, and it didn't dawn on me how much it was starting to permeate,
Yeah.
but it was.
It
And
was.
you look at it, look at George Washington, look any of it doesn't even have to be a
Right.
private university, guys. You can look this up.
You can
There
look it
are
up.
massive amounts of money coming in from Qatar and Saudi Arabia. And guys, I have to put this out there. And I feel like Angry Mom, this is a good segment to like everything we're talking about.
Yes.
Last time I checked, I mean, not with our current administration, because sometimes I swear when he's talking, like his mouth is moving, but the sound doesn't match.
Oh, it does.
But
I agree.
I believe that the United States of America does not negotiate with terrorists.
Right?
So,
Right? Well, obviously Northwestern does.
well, but not just Northwestern. And the other thing is, the United States was hit by a very disgusting terror attack in 2001. And yes, I'm old enough
Yes.
to remember that. And I actually remember
Me
watching the
too.
second plane hit because of my
Yeah.
job at the consulate. I would watch the news and read the papers in the morning and have to give my bosses a summary. And I screamed so loud, I was tackled by one of our Ministry of Defense guys to the ground, thinking that I was screaming because someone was like pointing a gun through the
Oh,
window, or I don't know what they thought, but I screamed.
wow.
I think I screamed like, holy SHIT, holy SHIT. And I don't know. I'm sure I was like
Yeah.
not making sense because what I saw did not make sense. But as a country, we came together, wrapped ourselves around the flag, and went and kicked some ass.
Yes.
So I'm confused because Israel suffered a horrific terror attack from a terrorist organization. Hamas is Al Qaeda, is ISIS.
Yes.
Like is Hezbollah. None of these people, by the way,
Yeah.
Iran.
Yes.
Bye-bye, some of you evil pieces of shit. Israel was attacked, and then people are up its ass about defending itself, or I don't know, trying to recover their hostages, even their hostage
Yeah.
bodies. And people are like, well, you should negotiate and have a ceasefire with Hamas.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
God.
people who don't play by the rules don't care what the frick you say or do. Like, and then that goes over to these protesters.
Yes.
Because they're not protesters. They're, here's a word that'll get you going, insurrectionists.
Yes. Insurrectionists. I call them junior jihadis, but yeah, really, Anya, the reason we went into Evanston that day, and again, I generally call Evanston the People's Republic of Evanston, or PRE. And we don't go very often, but there's a little restaurant, a little sushi place that we really like, and you can get takeout and go sit on the lake. And that was kind of our goal. And the
That
campus, you kind of mentioned how this is very emotional for me. The campus is gorgeous. And ever since my daughter was born, I would regularly, we always lived rather close to Northwestern, regularly take her to campus. We used to go see children's plays there. Their theater troupe puts on children's plays once a year. We would walk through campus in the fall. It is beautiful. And
I'm sure.
I even used to bring her to my sorority.
Like,
And
hoping
yeah,
she would become part of the same
yes,
sorority. Yeah.
yes, because I was a legacy. So my mother, although my mother didn't go to Northwestern, I was a legacy from my mother's sorority. So I went to my father's school and was in my mother's sorority.
Aw, that's
And yeah,
cool.
I always hoped at some point maybe my
Of
daughter
course.
could follow. And when I went to Northwestern, it was a place of learning. And I think I'm
Mhm.
one of the few people I actually went into the career that I went to school for. And I've used the skills I've learned at Northwestern. I had phenomenal teachers, long since retired, I think. And
Well, I think because
it
they
was a
actually
different
taught
era.
and you went to class.
Oh, I went to class. Yes, I always went to class. Certainly there were times when I might have slept through an early class, but that was, I was
Yeah.
in my, yeah, I was young, and youth is wasted on the young, of course. But long story short, I had always hoped, and then I saw Northwestern kind of start to go in such a bad direction, and it actually really came to a head during the whole George Floyd scam, and it was a scam. I'll call it what it is. I used to volunteer at my sorority during recruitment, which is also called Rush, although I
Hmm.
think Rush is sort of an outdated term now. But I would
Yeah,
go,
I don't
and
know. There's all these things now,
I
so
know all these things you
you
can't
call
say,
things what they
right?
when
Right,
one tries to become part of the sorority.
right. And I would always go help, and I would bring a group of friends with me, and we always called ourselves kind of tongue in cheek the young alum group because we're not super
That's
young
cool,
anymore.
though.
It
Good,
is
it's
fun.
neat to see, like, not
Mhm.
just the current people in the sorority if you're thinking of it, but like, "Oh,
Yes.
hi, these are" I mean,
Well,
isn't that the whole thing? It's like a sisterhood or the
it's a
fraternities, it's a
sisterhood
brotherhood that
for
you
life.
huh,
Yes, so we
huh.
would come and help, and generally we were just in the basement, kind of organizing papers, but we did help and we loved it. And the alumni advisor was always so happy to have us. She would give us little gifts, like a little candle or something. She's a sweetheart. But during the whole George Floyd scam, I still am, I think, or maybe I've gotten off my sorority's Facebook page or the alumni Facebook page for that particular chapter. Northwestern
Mhm.
is a Z chapter. They use Greek letters. And one of the actives posted how they were fundraising to, and I'm making air quotes again, get the George Floyd peaceful protesters out of raise money for their bail. Now, these are people that we lived in the city at the time, destroyed our neighborhood. I tell you, Anya, there were boarded up windows everywhere. They actually tried to destroy the grocery store that was next to our house. And my daughter, who again would be a double legacy for our sorority, started really struggling mentally after that happened. And we actually had to leave the city shortly
That's
thereafter.
very scary for,
Very scary.
a
She
kid
was
growing up to just
young, and, I mean,
yeah.
these people came into our grocery store well after hours with baseball bats and breaking windows, and this is a horrible thing, and then to see my own sorority raising money to bail these losers out of jail, these people that are probably living in mommy and daddy's basement and don't even know what they're fighting for. In fact, they're such losers that I talked to the manager of our grocery store. What they stole were empty cash registers, um, liquor, and diapers. That's what kind of losers we're talking about.
Maybe
So
the diapers are for when they're camping out, so they
maybe,
don't have to use the bathroom.
I don't
Listen,
know
hold
because
on. No, no, hold on. I'm
they
gonna think
weren't
this through with
adult
you.
diapers. I think these were
Oh.
really people that have, reproduced sadly at an early age, but are still living with mommy and daddy, and then grandma, raises the child. So these are
Oh,
the true
I was thinking that they were just wearing the adult diaper.
no. These are what we used to call the dregs of society, the lowest of the
So
low, the
and
scum of the earth, we used to
so
say.
I think part of the problem is we're not really like learning
No.
anymore. And I feel like almost like we're talking about what's going on our college and university campuses, but
Yes.
in a way, we kind of have to like be like, wait, but it's
Yeah.
also right
Yes.
now. I do think that
Well, I
I
love
don't know what.
this. Yeah. This
Yeah, no,
story.
no. Please go finish
Yeah.
this story. But it's
Yeah.
like I feel like it's people are starting to be like, wait, I'm seeing a bigger picture as you're
Yeah.
painting this. I'm seeing
And
this
I'm
bigger picture.
starting,
So
yeah.
please,
So
yeah.
I actually posted on Facebook, do your alumni advisors know that you're fundraising? And I tell you,
Mhm.
Anya, I was attacked. I was called a Karen. I mean, these are by
Why can't you
actives
just
at
ask
my
a
own.
question? You have the
Right.
right.
Right. So I eventually contacted both the alumni advisor, and she is lovely, and she said contact the national headquarters. I did. I
Yeah.
tell you, I made it known how much I volunteered, and by the way,
Hmm.
gave not a lot, but a little bit of money every year. And I was
Yeah.
actually considering getting involved in the House Corporation, which actually was a volunteer organization meant to help them with issues with the house, like remodeling and
Oh yeah.
such.
Well,
So
that makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, and I had also come to think of it, come and given a fireside chat on career development and resume writing.
Oh.
Yeah, that's part of what I do.
Oh, I don't know. Helpful skills that every college
Helpful
student
skills
needs.
rather than fundraising for to get people bail people out of
Yeah.
jail who are terrorizing my family. So, I made it known. I sent them screenshots, and so I
Mhm.
tell you though, I did get handwritten apologies, and then our national fraternity, it's Chi Omega National Organization, headquartered in Memphis, actually sent out a statement to all the actives and alums to, and I'm making air quotes again, treat each other with respect. But since then, Anya, I have not been back to the campus in a volunteer capacity, and I stopped all donations. But
Mhm.
what's happening now, these quote encampments, is so much worse. And that day, we only rode up because I thought that after President Schill, and he is a shill for the Democrat Party, after he negotiated with the terrorists and gave them, I know, a safe space on campus and, is going to have Muslim housing and Muslim
Isn't
scholarships.
isn't the
It's just,
dorm supposed to be a safe
yes,
place on
right.
campus?
The whole campus should be a safe place for any student of any faith.
Wait, I'm sorry. For everyone?
For everyone, right? Right? For everyone, even people like me and my daughter who might be, conservative and love our Jewish friends. I foolishly assumed, and again, never assumed that the signs, those filthy, disgusting signs that fronted Sheridan Road, and again, Sheridan Road, major thoroughfare, almost like a Fifth Avenue in New York, I assumed they were taken down. So we rode up, and we were on our way to lunch. I was absolutely shocked to see those signs still up. And here we are eating sushi, and all my friends are out for a nice Mother's Day brunch. And I tell you, Anya, I am seething with like
You're like, I'm just
anger,
trying to have Mother's
frustration.
Day with my family.
I know. And my husband said, do you want to order more sushi? And
Here,
I
eat
said,
more.
yeah.
He's a
And
Jewish grandmother, an Italian grandmother, all of a sudden. Here, honey,
eat
eat some
more, eat
more
more.
food.
And I said to them, I said, "No."
Love
I
him.
said, "I'm sorry, guys. On our way home, I want to leave now." It didn't ruin it, but I said, I have to go take those signs down. And
Yeah.
he knows me well enough to know when I want to stand up for something, nothing's gonna stop me.
Yeah.
And so he said, "Okay." And so we went back to, it's called Deering Meadow. It's actually one of the most beautiful places on a beautiful campus, which is
Mhm.
unfortunately only beautiful in looks. And the when you peel
Mhm.
back the layers of the onion, it's interesting. Commencement speaker last year for the 2023 grads was um no other than our governor, JB Pritzker, who publicly stated in his April 2023 acceptance speech that we MAGA people are basically terrorists and not welcome in Illinois. So we're not welcome at Northwestern. Already, I know conservatives aren't welcome. I definitely know that, but I didn't realize
I'm
that.
sorry, this is the United States. I don't
Right,
believe that you can say that anyone of any race, any
right.
color, any
political orientation.
political non-terrorist organization
Yes.
is not welcome.
No, my family would, although again, we are not Jewish, we are definitely not welcome at Northwestern. And I knew that. So I already was not going to send my
Well,
daughter.
see,
I
even my
already was,
dogs just got really upset. They were like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah."
are we not welcome? No, it's
I'm
really,
used to not being welcome. Well, welcome to the club of unwelcomed people.
I'm happy to be part of the tribe, so to speak. I'm definitely, but I think I told you so it's interesting. Growing up, my very best friends were Jewish. I mean, they're still Jewish, and we're still,
Can I ask you a question though
yes,
about that before you tell the story?
yes,
When you were growing up, right?
yes,
You may have known like, oh, friends were Jewish or friends were
yes,
Protestant or friends were Catholic only because like, maybe your town that you grew up in had multiple churches, multiple
mhm,
synagogues. I don't know. Okay,
yeah,
let's just like theoretically.
yes.
You may have known these things, but I'm willing to wager a large amount of money that it never really crossed your mind that mattered in
No,
your friendship.
no, never. In fact, it did matter in sort of a very blessed way, may I say, in that I was invited to Hanukkah celebrations and
So you could
Passover
learn
dinners.
about how someone else
Ex-
celebrated?
Exactly. And it's so funny when my husband and I, when our family fled the city, I actually said to my husband, I really would like to live in a predominantly Jewish area because I remember growing up, and again, it mattered in the best of ways that my Jewish friends all had something that I craved. I grew up in a very dysfunctional family. They all valued family time. Obviously, Friday night dinners.
Mhm.
Obviously, the all the nights of Hanukkah that were so blessed, and I was so lucky to be able to go and be invited to light candles for Shabbat or for even for Hanukkah. Because
Mm.
obviously it's the women that are lighting the candles, and
Mhm.
I was so. I think one of the things if I have to say, one of the things I loved most about the Jewish faith and always admired and admire greatly is that, the belief that women are more in touch with God. And
Yes, it's a very highly misunderstood thing. The
yes,
reason that women have less religious obligations is because they're
yes,
considered closer to God because
yes,
they're the ones who carry a child inside them
yes,
and they're the ones who like, keep a family
yes,
together. So
yes,
it's often people think, oh, well, why is it that like men and women
yes,
are separated with very religious
yes,
people or whatever? Why don't women have to? No,
yes.
it's actually like,
It's
when we actually learn things, like
yeah,
you're saying, oh my God, this was so cool, then we
yes,
actually start to know things. And Judaism is not just a religion, but it's very tradition based, and
yes,
there's a cultural aspect to it because Jews are so nomadic.
yes.
But yes, keep going, and also
But
the
I
fact
think
that you're talking about lighting candles, and I have to say, like, we need to be the light.
we
And there's
do.
something actually within Judaism, within the Torah, that actually commands you to be the light,
Yes,
meaning to
yes,
bring happiness, bring awareness,
yes.
bring love, bring joy, even in the darkest of times. And
Which
I
is
think that
now
nowhere shows that better than Israel,
a
right?
hundred
With
percent.
everything they're dealing with, they are pushing forward and
Yes,
they are having weddings and celebrations
yeah.
because you are literally
And that
commanded to
much
move forward.
does. You
And
are.
and you're talking about this and it hits you and you didn't even know that it hit you, but what you
Yeah.
experienced, you did that day.
Yes. I did. And I couldn't not take down those signs because I was thinking of all my Jewish friends, particularly the daughters. Now as an adult, my two best friends are Jewish, and my daughter is best friends with their children. So one of my Jewish friends has triplets, the other has two daughters. So we've got five girls that are my
A lot of
daughters.
girls.
Yes, and I love it. And again, here we are as angry moms, and I do believe, and I go back to the commencement speech at the Catholic University we were just speaking of. I do
Mhm.
believe women are closer to God, and I believe it's our job as mothers and angry moms to say, as you said earlier, die, enough.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying to myself, Anya, at the lunch, the Mother's Day
Yeah.
lunch. Again, it's all around
It's
motherhood.
I think it's very it's not It's not a coincidence
It's not an accident, and I'm sort of
that it
getting
was
chills
Mother's
again.
Day.
Yes, it isn't, and I was thinking of my friends' daughters on campus. I was also thinking again of sororities. There's a Jewish sorority at Northwestern that's been there since 1890, and
Is
they've
it
become
is it AE Pi?
Alpha Chi Omega, A Chi O.
Oh,
There's kind of two Jewish sororities, and they've become, I think maybe when they originally founded it might not have been a Jewish sorority, I suspect, but now it really has become. And I thought of those women having to walk by those signs every day. I thought of my friends' daughters going to college in a couple of years, as my daughter is, possibly facing that on their university. And I said, die, enough.
yeah,
I cannot ride home knowing those
yeah,
signs are still up. I can't.
right,
I would literally have to pop in the car and go back, because my
yeah,
legs would be so
yeah,
too tired to ride back. But I would have to
right,
literally go back. I may as well just do it now. So I
yeah.
said to my husband and daughter, and before I did it, now that was not our video. I had my husband actually film a brief statement from me that I had been intending, and I will still do, but now it's grown so much, send an email to Northwestern letting them know exactly why they're not getting my daughter. And so he filmed that, and then, I think he stopped filming. They were just waiting. My daughter wanted to help me, and I just said, no, just in case I run into trouble, I don't want you there. And, honey, you to my husband, y'all,
Stay with Dad.
yeah,
I'll be
stay
right
with
back.
dad. Exactly. Because again, as mothers, we protect our family above anything else. And
Mhm.
yes, this is important to me. And yes, I want to do it. But, and again, that's why I'm also kind of being anonymous, because number one, I don't want this movement to be about me. And
Mhm.
number two, I protect my family at all costs. That's my number one job. Mom is my number one job.
Mama Bear.
That's it. And again, just like the commencement speech the football player gave, mom is the most important job in the world. Make no
Yeah,
mistake.
yeah,
We are the
yeah.
glue. We are the glue that
Well,
holds family and society together. That's us. It's a calling, and believe me, I'll answer it. So anyway, I went into Deering Meadow, and I just started taking down the signs quietly. And people, my friends were saying, well, why don't you at least take off your bike helmet? And I said, I wasn't hiding, certainly. It was one of those moments
well,
where,
you were riding a bike, so
yeah,
of
I was
course you had a
riding my
bike helmet
bike
on.
and I just pulled it over. I brought my bike inside the meadow, because I wasn't expecting my family to watch my bike. And it was one of those moments, how sometimes you go into Target and you say, oh, honey, I'm going to just be a minute. I'm not even grabbing a cart. It was very much like that. I said, "Hun, I'm not even taking my helmet. I'm just gonna pull over. I'm gonna do this, and then we're leaving." And what the surprising part to me, I mean, many things have surprised me since then, was that these
Mm.
four men, I mean, students obviously, were filming me, and that's who I'm talking to. Again, I don't know who they are, and I still have no idea how this video ended up in the right hands, so to speak. And I really, it wasn't my doing. And in fact, so I did this, I took down the signs, and I'm talking to them because, again, something that upsets me so much about this generation, and many, is that there's all these armchair warriors, as I call them. You're filming things, you're on your computer arguing on Facebook. No, you got to get out there in real life and start standing up. And really, just the fact that they were videoing me. And again, I was also operating under the assumption that they were videoing me to later send to campus police. And I wasn't scared because, again, I went there, and I love our good guys in blue. I love our police. They're what, women are the glue for society, but they're what allows us to live a safe existence and be that glue.
Yes, and thank you to all the men and women who serve in law enforcement. Last week was Law Enforcement Appreciation Week, so a little bit late, but
Yes.
thank you.
We love you. That thin blue line, my goodness. But the university police the campus police are a little bit different breed. And I went there, so I knew that I wasn't really in any danger. But at the same time, I figured they were just going to send that video to campus police. And, I didn't think much of it. And then, I finished with the signs, and I really was, just taking them out of the ground. I ripped a few. The one that I made sure I ripped, my favorite sign, and you are going to think I'm making this up, it was said lesbians for Gaza. And I'm like, they know not of what they speak. Because again, if you are a gay person for Gaza, I will drive you to the airport and I invite you. I will pay for your
I
plane
will
ticket. Yes.
I will help you. I will take out a
Yes.
second mortgage to help you pay for that
Me
plane
too.
ticket.
Me too. Yep. I will. I will buy.
Bye.
Bye. Just make sure that your affairs are in order before you go. And I think we were saying earlier, make sure you've chosen your headstone and said
Well,
goodbye to
your
your.
body's not coming back when they
Yeah, it's
kill
not.
you, but
It's not.
but if you wised up and went to Israel, they have like the best gay pride parade in the entire world, and
Oh,
it's
I bet.
totally okay. By the way,
Mhm.
like, you can get married to
Yes.
some of the same sex in Israel, and you can. There are just almost
Yes.
certain times I feel like there's as many gay pride flags in Tel Aviv as there are Israeli flags. So just saying,
Love
like,
it.
if you want to
Yes.
be,
Yes.
gay for something, I would be, I don't know, gay for the places where you can actually live, like the
A hundred
U.S.,
percent. Gays for
Israel,
Jerusalem.
some parts of
Absolutely.
Europe. With Europe, you
Absolutely.
never know. I mean, like, I wouldn't go running to like a communist-run country if I were
No,
gay. I don't know how that's going to work out for you, but it's
no,
definitely not going to work out for you
it's
in
not
Gaza.
going to work out for you. It's so funny. My daughter's orchestra teacher, he and his boyfriend, for some reason, they love to go on summer adventures. They went to Kazakhstan last summer to hike. I know it's a little nuts. He's great, and I love him. I love his boyfriend. They are the
Go,
loveliest
go be
people.
out cute and outdoorsy.
I know, but they exactly. He said they had to pretend to be cousins. So do you? Yes, yes, and they knew ahead of time.
Oh, okay. I was like, well, I'm glad they knew
They
ahead of
knew.
time.
They knew they said, and I quote, they took out their earrings and had to pretend to be cousins. And I love them for being courageous enough to go. But again, I think they could have had a better trip in Israel. It definitely was not the best trip. But yes, and what
A lot
is
of good
a
hiking in Israel.
lot
I
of
mean, if you want
right,
to go,
right.
I have a lot of friends that are tour guides of different natures, and I even
Good.
have a friend who is, I call her the Jesus tour guide because she's a Christian tour specialist.
I
So
love
you
it.
go to where Jesus was born.
Oh,
You
please
go to
connect
where he
us.
walked on water, which,
I
by the way,
l-
is free and open to the public because Israel
wow.
keeps it safe.
Israel. Yes,
And then you can go to the old churches, and she'll literally like
I
take
love
you
it.
everywhere. Yeah.
I love it. I definitely, please, we're going to hook up after the call. But, it's amazing that these protesters, again, they have no idea what they're talking about. One of the signs, of course, said from the river to the sea. And I don't think they even know what that means. I'm positive they don't. But
So
these young,
do
yes,
you know, Angry Mom, that not only, I don't know if you've seen, there's a lot of, stuff out there, but a lot of
mhm,
times when people, these protesters are
yes.
asked, what river?
Yeah, they don't know. And they don't even know what sea.
The
They don't.
river. And
The
then
river
my
to
favorite
the
one
sea.
was they asked this girl, and she's like, I have to do this voice because that's how she talks. And
Yes.
she's like, it's a river. And so the guy's like,
Which river?
what sea? And she goes, the sea is like an ocean. So it's like, like the ocean, it's like a sea.
Yeah, they don't
And
know.
I thought to myself,
You
oh my
know,
God, my head hurts, my head hurts, my head hurts.
it's
How is she so
painful.
stupid?
And,
Wait, but here's the thing, an ocean is like a sea?
is it okay? I know.
Oh
I know.
no, oh my
Geography is
body,
kind of a
water.
geography is a lost art. And I think even scarier, and none of the signs said this, but they're chanting Antifada and they don't know what it means.
Well, my favorite is when they shout infatata.
Yes,
I don't even
yes,
think that's a food. I know an empanada and a tostada.
I
But again,
know.
because these
I
protesters
know.
are just repeating these things that
They're just
rhyme.
repeating. Yeah.
Um, so by the way, the from the river to the sea, when they, okay, so I'm gonna do it
Yes.
in their voice.
Yeah.
Because that's what they say.
Ah,
So I got really annoyed one day. I was like, die! I'm an angry
yes.
mom.
I'm an
And
angry mom.
I wrote From the River to the Sea 2.0.
Yeah.
And I'll read you just,
Read it. Yes.
the few things, not the whole thing, but From the River to the Sea, Israel has and always will be. By the way,
I
above my
love
head is
it.
a
Let's see.
historic chart.
Okay.
Okay. And then one of the lines is, and the reason I reference this is because it should all make sense now, not that they can
Yes.
understand any of this, but from the river to the sea, confused? Just ask those who study archaeology.
I love it.
So for all the protesters at Columbia and Yale and Harvard
Yeah.
and archaeology is a job that people do when they uncover through layers of the earth to prove
Right.
history.
Right.
Like the dinosaur bones that maybe when you were a
Yes.
kid and still learning and went to a museum, you saw dinosaur bones. Those are archaeologists.
Yes.
They are the people who carbon date and they tell you
Yes.
this was from a long, Egypt and the
Right.
pyramids and the all that's
Right.
archaeology.
I
I'm
know.
not asking you to spell it, sweetie, at
Right.
Columbia, because we all know you can't spell. Because
Yes.
when you broke into that building and
Yes.
defaced it, for the love of God, they can't spell. They can't form a
No,
sentence.
they
I had a
can.
guest on who is a part-time professor, an adjunct professor, a journalist, and he happens to be a lawyer. He likes to say he
Okay.
happens to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
And I was like, Matthew, put on whatever hat you will, be it adjunct
Yes.
professor, journalist, or lawyer. What bothers you most about that? And he's like, he goes, they don't even spell
I
or form
know.
a sentence. And
It's
I'm like,
so
I love that
frustrating.
you're shouting all these things. And
Yeah.
and by the way, listen, we
Yes.
talk about angry moms. We're
Yes.
angry moms, but angry is not like
No.
thing about it. And this is what I
No.
hear. I'm gonna back away from the mic for a second so I don't blow everyone's ears
Yeah.
out. But this is what I hear when the protesters.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God.
I
And I
know.
love when they're fighting the police. And I was in New
Oh.
York City last week for meetings, and I was at the Fox Media building dropping something
Okay.
off.
Love it.
And there was quite a few well-equipped
Mhm.
and not so bad looking cops outside. And I came out and I didn't look at the whole street behind me. Because I was like, oh, and one of them had a dog. And also I didn't want to walk too close. I mean, I knew it was a bomb dog because,
Oh,
I
yeah,
can
yeah.
put two and two together because
Sure.
I have a brain that works.
Yep.
Um, but I was like, I didn't want to walk too close to the dog. So I kind of walked over so that the
Yes.
dog was not,
Yes.
and I said, hey guys, is there a good place to sit and have a cup of coffee before I have another meeting? I'm not super familiar with the area.
Yeah.
And one of them goes like this across the street. And I go, oh, so if I looked across the street,
Great.
I
Yes.
would know that there's a
Yes.
coffee place right there. And he just started laughing. I'm like, I'm sorry. I said I was more concerned about not spooking the dog.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, thanks. That's
Thank
very
you.
nice
Thank
of
you
you.
for actually thinking
And
about
yeah.
us.
And I said, by the way, thank you for all that you do. You don't deserve the shit you get.
Yes.
And then I said, by the way, if any of you guys have been there breaking up these protests, I was like, how do you have so much self-restraint? Because
Right.
I really want to slap
Mhm.
some sense into these people.
Oh, I know.
And they're like, oh, you have no idea. And I was like,
Yeah.
listen, sometimes your foot slips and maybe
Yeah. Whoops.
because maybe we could knock some sense into people.
We
That being
could.
said, I want to put this out there right here and now because
Yes.
you said they know not of what they speak. And I agree with you.
They don't know.
Aval. But ignorance is not an excuse. Do you want to know how I know this angry mom? Because when I was a teenager and I tried to get out of the situation I was in because I did something I shouldn't have done, I said to my parents, but I didn't know.
I didn't know.
And my father was like, oh, and he's like, Anya, ignorance is not an excuse. It's like, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, no, this is not working. I'm in trouble. Also, I heard my full name. So I was like, oh, shit, I'm in trouble.
I'm in trouble.
When we used to actually get parented.
Yes. Well, and to your point, when I see these, again, I'm making air quotes, protesters, here's my question. Where the heck are your parents? And again, making a large assumption here, I have to believe, especially knowing the maturity level of these protesters and the lack of intelligence, their parents are more than likely paying for their college education, paying for their room and board, paying for those phones. Now, I know in my generation,
Or federal loan tax dollars are.
oh, there you go.
So
Yeah, maybe some of the money from Qatar, right? But what I know is, again, and I'm Generation X when we had parents. My angry mom would have come possibly in a bathrobe and curlers, taken me by the
nice.
ear and dragged me back home where I would have remained probably for all 4 years. And at my
Yeah.
age, I would probably still be grounded. Where
Yeah. Don't you
are,
dare embarrass this family. That's not how you were
yes,
raised. You know better
it's
than this.
not, it's
You
not.
wanna scream and shout? I'll give you something to scream and
Thank
shout
you.
about.
I'll give you something to be upset about.
Oh
These
yeah, that was
parents,
how many times
where
have I heard
are
that?
they? And where are the angry moms like me saying, enough, this is insanity. And if you are a parent, I'm going to speak directly to you, that you are allowing this to happen. I don't even
Yes.
know what to say to you. You are a complete and utter failure as a parent and as a human
Yeah.
being.
Yeah.
You are failing your children and you are failing society as a whole. You are allowing this. And by
Mm.
allowing it, you are perpetuating it. And, we have
Yes.
several calls to action, but I'll give my first call to action and then we can get to the others.
Please. Yeah.
If you are a parent, it is your duty to raise your child to succeed in society and to be a pillar of society, just as a university is supposed to be a pillar of Western civilization. And obviously, Northwestern no longer is. And I definitely call to defund Northwestern and these universities. But first, as a parent, if your children are out there doing this and protesting, and bring them home, take them out of university, bring them home, and do not allow them to go back. Do not pay for them to go back. Cut off their cell phone until they are able to be a productive member of society. Imagine that. And my
Yeah.
second call to action is, if you don't, like, for example, I don't have a college age student yet, but she is, getting there. Um, do not give these woke universities your most precious asset, your children.
Mhm.
Do not. Make sure
Mm.
you know for every university to which you will allow them to apply. And these application fees are not cheap, by the way. They
No.
quickly add up. Do not, before you go, use something that we mentioned before. It's called Google. When I wanted to see how much money
By the
Northwest,
way, I feel like we should both get something from Google.
we
So Google
should,
people,
we should.
we're shouting you out. So I'm just saying,
Mhm,
just
mhm.
contact us.
Yeah, well, I'm going to advocate for using Google,
Yeah.
any search engine, but Google seemed to work for me. When I wanted to know, before I came on the show and before I did my show on the show with Jeannie Ives on Sunday night, I
That
actually
was
went.
awesome, by the way. And guys,
Thank
it
you.
will the link will be back up because I did listen and it was awesome.
Thank you. And Jeannie is phenomenal. I just want to say a
She's
word about
fun.
her. She's the leading Republican in Illinois and she doesn't hold office. Isn't that
Well,
amazing?
that is pretty cool. But I like how she also brought her brother on. I was like, oh yeah.
And Jeannie is a super mom. She has 5 kids, and I happen to know
Oh my
one of her kids went to West Point and is serving our country, and
oh, thank you for
Jeannie
your
is
service.
fantastic. I advocate for her returning to office at some point, but I mean, right now she's super mom. When you have 5 kids, I mean, I can barely manage one. She's a super mom,
I don't know how she's
and
doing that.
she is
By the way,
gonna,
Jeannie, if you have tips to how to do that, let us know
yeah,
because we'll put
let
it up
us
on
know,
Angry Mom's page. How to
please.
wrangle multiple children. Actually, you know what? That's an important thing because you're like, she has 5 children. I don't know how to manage one. I don't know how to manage. I'm a kid too, and I'm like,
I
damn, I'm
know.
so tired.
I don't know
But
how to
here's the
do
thing: one of my guests on another podcast,
it.
and I love her, and she's the owner and creator of Aleph Bet. So Aleph is like the A equivalent, Bet is the B equivalent, like
Okay.
AB.
Mhm.
Aleph Bet Jewelry,
Okay.
because she started out doing jewelry like this, like
Oh,
with the
that's
letters.
beautiful.
Okay, so this is my name. It says Anya, but so this is not from her. This is from my very good friend, Miss Alma Jewelry. Hi,
Okay.
Nati, and it was actually a gift. Nati sent it to me. As a gift.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I love him so much. I love to give him a hard time. He's like one of
Yes,
those people that's so easy to just mess with. So,
I
but
love it.
But Nati, I love you. We'll have some wine next time I'm in Israel.
And I might
But
join you.
yeah, oh my God, please. When we're going to talk about that too. But
Yeah.
she said, because she is offering to send a free mug and David.
Yes.
I'm not wearing the one from hers. This is a family heirloom one, but a free Star of David, a free mug and David to any college student whose parent writes to her saying, my student is at this,
Yes.
is at this university, and I want to say I love you, I'm proud of you, blah 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 blah. Okay,
Oh,
so she's doing it for free. Like, she's not asking for
that is
anything. She's just a
a
gift.
lovely
Because
gesture.
we talked about it takes a village, right? It
It
takes a
does.
village. But she said to me, I want to correct you, because I said, oh, so if a parent says, oh, my son, my daughter,
Yeah.
because I was trying to help the listeners,
Yeah.
know what they need to do, as opposed to just
Right.
spamming her, and like, because she can't sort through and then be like, no, this is what I need you to do,
Yeah.
because we want her to be sending things out, not wasting
Of
time
course.
answering the question that it's about our
Our
children,
It is.
right?
And it
Because
is.
the children are our future.
They
Teach
are.
them well and help them lead the way, or show
Yes.
what's that song? Show them all the
Right.
beauty they
Yes.
possess inside.
Yes.
Could we start doing that again,
Could we
and
please?
not
Yes.
enabling children to and I
I
surge
know.
anger. Why are you so angry? You're so young. What
I
happened to
know.
you that you are so upset? This victim mentality
It is.
bullshit
It
has
is.
got to stop. Listen, you know what would happen when I fell as
Yeah.
a kid? Get
Yeah.
up.
Get up. Yep. Same here.
You
Same
know,
here.
my son, he hates to come on the podcast, but he knows that. No, I'm sorry, I'm just going to talk about you.
Yeah.
But so he, when he started playing baseball, he was often catching, like,
Okay.
because he's a
Yeah.
big kid with real strong and big strong arm,
Yeah.
and so he got hit a lot with bats or ball. When kids are still
Sure.
learning, and
Sure.
also because he's a very strong kid, he would often get hit when in the
Yeah.
batter's box, like
Okay.
intentionally, so that he would. They didn't want to always pitch to him,
Right.
because when he hit the ball, it went very far.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
it would be hit, and he would just like
Mm.
drop the bat and run, because I was like, only
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
muscle the first.
Well, and my daughter, I constantly am saying, suck it up, buttercup, when she wakes up
Yeah.
and I'm tired or this. Well, suck it up,
Yeah.
and our
Life is not a bed of roses all the time.
no, it's not. And how are you arming your children to succeed in society, in the world, when here's these kids playing victim and supporting again a terrorist organization.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, if somebody was, let's say tomorrow, somebody started paying my way, paying for my housing, paying for my cell phone. Oh my God, I certainly wouldn't feel like a victim. I'd be jumping for joy. I don't like getting my mortgage bill or my tax bill or my electric bill. I hate my cell phone bill. And
Yeah.
wouldn't that be nice if someone could pay for me? And again, stop. So that's a call to action, stop enabling this behavior. And when I stood up, I felt like I was standing up for all of us. And again, it was not a difficult thing to do. And when I look at the video, last time I looked, it had like 485,000 views. And I love
I'm
all the
sure.
comments. I love all of you who've said, you go, you go. But part of the reason I'm staying anonymous is because this is not about me. It's about us and our children. And if you're not out there standing next to me, or maybe even in front of me, we are losing our country. And here's the thing, Anya, if we all stood up, the game would be over. It's like if you came to my house, let's say you and your family came to my house and we're all playing Monopoly and I'm cheating terribly. And again, Monopoly is, kind of low stakes, but we're playing a high stakes game. And if I was cheating on Monopoly, I would hope that you and your family would get up and walk away and say, we're not playing. This is ridiculous. Why are we continuing to play the game? Why are we not standing up and saying, die, enough? This is ridiculous. If we stand up, the game that is being played upon us is over. So I am calling every angry mom, every angry parent
Mhm,
out there. And where
mhm.
are the men, by the way? I say in my video, I realized
I
that
know,
women
that
are.
was my favorite
I
part.
Well, it was because these 4 men were filming me, and I swear to God, at the end of me taking down the signs, they even said to me, "You missed one," because there was one that was way up a tree. It was like a sheet with the Palestinian flag, which was disgusting, but I couldn't get up there. I'm
Yeah.
all of like 5'4" on a good day. I couldn't climb up there, and I said to them, although that part's not in the video, I said, "Come help me. Come take it down." Like those, fraternity, I think it was, Pike, we used to call
It's,
them, and
uh,
Phi Kappa, I can't remember, and they guarded the flag. Where
well,
are you?
you know why, right? Do you know
Because,
how that kinda started?
tell
Like,
me.
so that fraternity, it's down south, North or South Carolina, I think. I should check that. I
Yeah.
should Google it.
Google it, yeah.
Um, but there's a young man who's Jewish as part of that fraternity. Wow, I apologize, guys. Like,
That's okay.
I did silence, but for some reason, the call from Israel came through and made some noise. But it's from Kibbutz Be'eri, so I will call them back after. But
Okay.
um, he was out there with an Israeli flag, saying, "No, this is my country." No, like, but he was, like, "No, hi, this is how I feel."
Yeah.
Okay, both, and they were his fraternity came out to support him, and
Yes.
the kids were trying to take the flag down, and so
Yes.
they, as a group of young men, actual
Yes.
men,
Men.
and they, like, some of the videos that are out there, you can see that they're actually getting things hurled at them,
Yes.
and they're like, that giant flag, they're like, we're not going to let it touch the ground.
Good. I
um
love these
and
young
yeah,
men.
because here's the thing, and I want to be abundantly clear, right? It
Yes.
is totally fine if you are, hi, last time I checked, the US, well, we had an actual immigration policy where you were supposed to, like, come through these means and, take an
Yeah.
immigration test and prove that,
Oh
you
my
have to swear
goodness.
off allegiance to
Yep.
another country and
Like
yada,
my
yada, yada.
great-grandparents. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Like mine, my great grandparents as well. But it's okay to, like, at your house be like, okay, so at my house, like, you would see both, right? Okay, because
Yes.
I'm actually, hold grandparents.
It's
I'm third
beautiful. They look so good
generation
together.
American. Okay,
I
third generation American,
Yep.
but
Me
I
too.
also, this is my family also. Okay,
I love it.
so I would say in my house, and then I know, which is kind of cool. Like, there are some people that are making these, like, I don't know how to really do it, but, like, they're like, maybe like this, like those dual
Oh, yes, I've
flags.
seen those are
Now, but
beautiful.
I've also seen, like, an American flag with Ukraine, an American flag with Italy,
Yeah.
an American flag with whatever, like,
Yes.
whatever. Like, I don't have an issue with that.
Right.
Um,
Same.
and I actually thought that I would be one of those people that would have a big flagpole outside the house, because
I
I
know.
don't. But yeah, but the point is, this is where I live right now.
Yes.
Okay, and if I'm so unhappy with this place that allows me to say I hate this place,
Yeah.
then the fucking chag. Get the hell
Get
out.
out.
Bye.
Leave.
Don't let the
Like, yeah,
door of freedom and democracy smack you in the ass when you leave.
exactly. Exactly.
So I am saying I need. I almost just went into my, like, Hebrew English thing because I'm so used to it when I have guests on from Israel. I need, as an American,
Hmm.
more moms to get angry.
Yes.
Get angry not because they're targeting my people. Let me put this back into context. I know we forgot to continue doing this, which is called teaching in this country.
Yes.
Actual facts and skills, like writing your name,
Yes.
writing a sentence and spelling it correctly, learning how to do math without going like, oh, hold on, let me do it on
Yeah.
the, oh, for the
Right.
love of God. I said God, I said love of God. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
She's so conservative.
I know.
For the love of God, because it does say God bless America, and I pledge
Yeah.
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under
Under
God,
God. Yeah.
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yes.
Hey, guess what, guys? I can sing the Star Spangled Banner too, but I'm not
Me
going to sing
too.
because I don't want people to stop listening.
Yeah. No, I
I'm
love
not a
it.
singer. But I want to know, why are there not more angry moms and parents out there? And there have been. And thank you for everyone. Again, guys, one of the reasons Angry Mom came on the podcast, and by the way, like such a fangirl moment when you found me, because I was like,
Oh,
I kept
ditto.
putting it out there. I was like, does anyone know who she is? Does anyone know who she is? And
Yeah.
by the way, I would like for us together to call out that other mom. There was a mom in another, there's film of her like going and yanking her kid and
Yes,
yanking him out.
by the
So
ear. I love
I
her.
don't know. We need to I'm going to
We need
find
to
that and
find her.
repost it on our new page. And guys,
Let's
we
find her
started a
too.
new, we need to, I have been asking, but I guess I don't
I
know the
know.
right people that know her. But I was like, oh hell yes, because I'm like in my head, I'm thinking like, I know what she's saying to him.
Yes.
Like
she's and that's her son is still grounded, by the way, I bet.
Oh, I am sure of that. Now, and probably like, yes, mom.
Yes, mom. I'm so sorry.
And the thing is, like, here's the thing. I'm a single mom and I raised my son by myself. And I'd like to think that my son and I are very close, but I'm not his best friend. Okay. I'm his mom. Okay.
Exactly.
Now, we have to remember we need to parent. Where else are our children going to learn things?
Yes.
Listen, kids that grow up to be hateful because their parents teach them to be hateful. Okay. So if you want kids to learn to love and be proud and stand up and have a spine and learn that you should get up, like I did today at the doctor's office. There was an elderly woman, I like they opened the door for her to go back into the waiting room to make her next appointment. And then I kind of was like minding my business, but I noticed like, okay, so she was done and she started to head for the door to leave. So I quietly got up, walked around and opened the door and just held it. And she looked at me and I was like, have a good day. And she was like, thank you.
Thank you. Wow.
Like she had those like crutches, but they were like, you know, the ones attached to
I
your
know
arm.
what you mean. Yeah.
So she would have had to stop, kind of pull her. Wait, but what is that? Common sense.
Common sense.
So,
common sense, and also, you know, love of your fellow human, and it's just
let me hold the door for her. How much effort did that take?
I'm
Zero.
that woman too. I remember being in a grocery store recently. This older, I mean, she had to be in her 90s, elderly lady trying to put groceries in her trunk. All these so-called men, I watched them walk by her. Yeah. Guess who stopped to help? Of course it was me. And she was like, I swear, I think she had tears in her eyes and kept saying, thank you, dear. Yeah. And I'm like, here's the thing. If we stop standing up for what we believe in, the things we believe in will be gone. They're gone.
Well, they are gone. Like, think about it, right? So this is very alarming to me. And I want to make this statement very loud and clear. The reason I brought up the dual flags. Okay, fine. You want to like fly two flags. Okay, fine. But if I take this down and like threw it on the ground, that's disrespectful to every single person who lost their life, who served in the armed services, or a first responder who died defending the rights that you literally have no respect for.
Okay? And had that flag on their coffin, came home under that flag.
I can't even like that. I know. Oh my God. You want to get me? That's every time, anytime. And I watched the funeral of one of the Israeli hostages that
I'm so sorry.
Just watching, because in Israel they don't do the coffin thing. They just had her body wrapped in the flag, and I was just like, like every minute. And I'm so sorry. No, this is our reality, and we need to really like be real about this. Okay, so I'm going to take this down and I'm going to burn it. Well, I would never, because if I'm one of those assholes who's protesting, who, by the way, I'm not going to use the flag in this way because that would be disrespectful.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah. I know. If you're so proud.
My favorite is these people.
Yeah, I know, but if you're that's not helping.
Don't say it's about COVID because it's still going up your nose.
Right.
But why are they doing this? Because it makes it harder to identify them.
That's it.
Bitch, you know what you're doing is wrong. Okay. So if you had balls and you really believe this, show me your face.
And I want to say very publicly that, you know, when I think we talked over this, but just to make sure, when I was wearing my bike helmet and such, I wasn't hiding. Again, it was one of those moments.
We could see you, but you were riding a bike, and so you abided by the laws, and you were also just wanting to not scramble your brain. God forbid you fall. You wore a bike helmet on a bike.
I always wear a bike helmet, and I pulled over. You know, and when I pulled over, no one was by the signs, so I saw it as an opportunity to quickly take.
But
and
also,
I wanted those.
I bet you don't take the helmet off the first thing.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
So
I
whatever.
even, yeah, I think I even
If you
still
were
had my
hiding
bike
your
glove on.
face, I
No,
would think people had an argument. You weren't
no,
hiding
I
your face.
was
You were
not.
currently wearing a bike helmet.
I was on a
So
bike ride, a nice long one, and I had just, eaten. And again, it was a quick
you might have had
pullover.
helmet hair. You were
Right.
trying to
Oh, I
like,
did. I definitely did.
I'm
And
gonna have headphones hair later.
exactly, it happens. It happens to the best of us. But
So
you know,
so you're standing up because you see someone rip this down or burn this.
oh
Okay?
God,
You know what? You lost my respect
yeah,
when you burn a flag. Okay, because you have no balls to say
right.
what you really think. And I
Mm.
want to know if you are going to shout, and I love there's I've just his name is escaping me at the moment, but he's a Jewish actor comedian, and he's the one he recently went around in like the whole like graduation getup to
Okay,
the campuses, and he was like talking to people, and
yeah,
like you can't tell who he is or what his like he's not wearing
gotcha.
like a giant mug of David or something, and he's like, hey, so I see you got the sign here, and you're saying Intifada Revolution, and he's like,
Oh,
what does Intifada mean?
and they
And the
don't
girl's like,
know.
I don't like really know. And he goes, well, have you like said it? And she goes,
Mhm.
yeah. And he goes, well, do you know that it actually means? And he goes and explains it to her, and she goes, um,
No.
wait, what? And he goes,
What?
so basically you are saying you are calling for your own death in a very bloody and blah, 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 blah. And she goes, so he goes, so you're going to keep saying it? And she goes, I don't like think so. And then, or from the river to sea, what river? Don't know. What
Yeah,
sea?
what
Don't know.
river,
Okay.
what sea? No clue.
Okay. Here's
No
the other thing.
clue.
Okay, fine. You want to say like they don't know and they're ignorant. Ignorance is not an excuse. I'm
Yes.
sorry. It's more than that. It's more than that because yes, are there
Yeah.
there paid protesters and people who are literally exist to stir the pot? Yeah.
Yeah.
These tents didn't get delivered from nowhere. And
No, they
listen,
didn't.
they're coming from Amazon. Jeff Bezos, like I used to
Yeah,
really love you, Jeff Bezos, but if
not
these are coming
anymore.
from you, what the
Yeah,
fuck, dude? And
right.
then the wearing the keffiyeh. Now on another
Uh,
podcast I had on a new friend. He's an Israeli Druze, not from
okay.
like the Spaceballs movie. Funny, she doesn't look Jewish. No, Druze, Druze.
Okay.
He's like, I'm an Israeli Arab. I am Druze. Okay. So
Okay.
he's like, let me tell you what a keffiyeh is really meant for and where it started. He's like, farmers, when you're caught in a sandstorm, so the
Yeah.
sand doesn't get in your face and the
Ah,
sun stays off you. So when you sweat, the sweat cools your skin. He's like,
yeah.
and then it was twisted to this. And he goes through the whole thing. And
Yeah.
he's like, these kids, they're wearing it as an accessory. And I said, yeah, don't you know?
Yeah.
I said,
I don't know.
Mansoor, it's the new nose ring.
It is. It is. It
And
absolutely
then I
is.
swear to God, I cannot make this up. On one of my social media feeds, because I research a lot. I mean, I wear a lot of jewelry. By the way, all of the jewelry, everyone knows, all of my jewelry is all Israeli silver. If you ask me where it's from, I
Whoa.
will tell you and help people get
Beautiful.
them.
Very
Yeah,
beautiful.
and a lot of the places I know that stuff I'm wearing also makes crosses and stuff like that. Like, so if you want like a really special gift coming from Israel and a way to support a small business, like please let me know. So this is just something I do.
Yeah.
So I'm obviously looking at jewelry. So the algorithms. So in my social media feed, I swear to God, I can't make this up. I was like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me? It was a necklace, and it was the pendant was a keffiyeh, and I was like, if this isn't like American consumerism gone, like,
Oh my
I don't know what is.
God.
And I was like, oh my God, this country's going to hell.
Yeah.
Or like, there's one girl, I have to find this. I'm going to put it up on the Angry Moms page. She's all like covered, but she's got these machine gun earrings on, and she's like, I'm like,
Do you know?
I almost might listen to you if you didn't have machine gun
Right.
earrings on.
Right.
And the other thing is like, you can Google things. You can Google
Yes.
how the Gaza Ministry of
Yes.
Health they continue to report the same amount of Palestinian deaths
Yes.
as and the thing is, the people of Gaza, the Gazans,
Yes.
are from Jordan and Egypt. And by the way, the IDF it was just posted. And the IDF, look, I love you guys. I love you so much. And I have so
Love
much
you
respect for
guys.
everyone that's serving. But
Absolutely.
the people who are in charge of getting information out, how I feel because I've vocalized it to you personally.
Yeah.
We take we don't publish everything because we believe in trying to be doing the right thing and being humane and not showing pictures which are the things that if you really
Oh,
knew what was going on, you'd never
I
sleep,
know.
which is
And you
one of the
can't
reasons I don't
unsee
sleep.
them either, right?
Correct. I can't unsee the things that I've seen.
And
Now,
I
that
know
being said,
myself, I'm not courageous enough to see them. I
well,
know it,
it's
but I
okay,
know in
but
my heart.
it's okay, right? Because what the evil
I
was.
know.
And the
I
thing
know.
is, the IDF doesn't always put out a lot of information about some of the things they're finding because also it could jeopardize the mission and the safety of the
Yes.
soldiers, because the soldiers are there to
Absolutely.
stop the terrorists
Yeah,
and find the hostages. And
absolutely.
the
And God
tunnels,
willing, God willing me to. Truly.
yeah,
When I think
every day
about,
that goes on, it's
I
harder
know.
because the thing is, well, but let me just finish this though. So the
Yeah.
tunnels, they found new tunnels, and
Oh,
those tunnels lead directly to Egypt.
goodness.
So Egypt has been allowing the smuggling of weapons and
Yes.
all this stuff all this time and knowingly, but they won't open their above ground borders to all these poor
Of
Gazans that
course.
need. And by the way, I want to say this for the record, because this is something to get angry about, angry moms.
Yes.
Israel has not stopped, not once. Israel pulled out of Gaza
Yes.
in 2005. By the way,
Right.
it used to look like Tel Aviv because they have beautiful
Oh
beach.
my
Well, not anymore.
gosh. Well, of course
Um,
they do. Yeah, because they're on the sea, right?
right. Yes.
We don't know what
Now,
sea though.
I don't know. It's like it's an ocean.
Yeah. It's water with salt.
Don't drink it.
Yeah.
Um, but Israel has not once stopped with the electricity. It has not once stopped the water.
Right.
They claim to have no fuel, though they have never stopped firing rockets into Israel. Israel continues to bring humanitarian aid in, but
Yes.
Hamas and the UN, UNRWA. Hey, by the way, it's been proven that UNRWA workers were some of the people that assisted on October 7th and kidnapped. And if you Google it, you will find the Israeli mom who comes and speaks out. And she said an UNRWA worker who claimed to be a social worker is one of the terrorists that kidnapped my son. So we are giving money to the UN. And the Red Cross also, by the way, horribly corrupt, and what they're doing over there in cahoots with the UN and UNRWA is disgusting.
Yeah.
Israel has never once stopped sending aid. I'm sorry that Hamas steals it. Okay, well, that's not my problem.
No.
But if you really want to help them, then you need to get rid of Hamas. And on top of that, to equate Hamas, the terrorist group who intentionally target civilians, murdered babies, burn them in the street, they intentionally burned bodies to the point where, you don't know who's who and etc. And the dismemberment of bodies and the things that they did. You want to talk about war crimes? Oh, by the way, Amal Clooney, when you're in your little mauled, Amalfi Coast, but hot's the fucking ha, okay? I have no respect for you. And now George Clooney, you suck. You broke my little teenage heart, but
yeah.
F you.
Because
You want to equate the leader of a country to a terrorist organization?
Oh my God.
They defiled women. They raped women repeatedly. Any female hostages that are still alive are continuously being tortured and raped.
Yes.
Then to say rape is resistance, F you, okay? We have lost our moral compass in this country, and so I, as a mom, I am angry. But there is power to angry moms.
There's
okay?
power to anger. Because
you threaten a mama bear, a mama lion, whatever you want to say. I say to people, I'm like the nicest person in the world unless you fuck with my kid.
Yeah.
And then run. And by the way,
same.
Hamas, don't stop to look over your shoulder, because all you do is give me an extra second to get closer.
Right.
Run. So we as angry moms need to say, oh, hell no,
Enough.
and take back the values in this country.
Yep.
We need to remind our children what America was founded on.
Absolutely.
What we do. Stop this political nonsense. And I'm not even saying like vote for this one, vote for that one. Right? Okay. No, I'm not.
Yes.
I'm not right now. Okay. I mean, I would like 2 human beings, but I don't think one of them qualifies, but that's neither here nor there. You know, people, there are horrible things that happen in this country in history. Okay. They were just talking about this because, Martin Luther King, who talked about, peaceful resistance, that was actual peaceful resistance. Okay.
It
What
was.
these hate-filled terrorist supporters and terrorists are doing, because listen, sweetie, if you want to stand, oh, hold on, let me really get it.
Yeah. Oh, it's a good look.
With your armband.
Yeah.
You Nazi fuck. Like, what is wrong with you? And you're going to physically prevent a Jewish student from accessing his class?
That was.
Dude,
horrific.
seriously? I have so much. By the way, that kid, I have reached out to him young man. Sorry. I said he can come on the podcast anytime, because I do not know how he was able to go like this.
Yeah. I know.
Because I would have been like, sorry, it was such a weird reaction.
Yeah.
Coughed really hard and
It's just
went up to your nose. Get the fuck out of my way.
Exactly.
Who the hell do you think you are? Also, a lot of those people, not even students, not even part-time students.
Right.
So I want to know. I'm angry as a mom. Tell me. Oh, by the way, I went to a college fair recently.
Oh, wow.
for shits and giggles. And I saw one of the places that has been really bad. And so but I am not, look, what you see is what you get with me. I did not hide. I had my U.S. press credentials hanging.
Yes.
Openly.
Good.
And I started asking questions like this.
Good for you.
I'm not like hiding it. I'm asking questions. And I kind of even went like this or something to be like, credentials. And I'm asking questions, and they were like, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry, do you not have an answer? Like, so are you telling me that you would not be able to keep my son safe? Okay, cool. So let me just ask a couple follow-up questions. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, is it bothering you? Are you uncomfortable?
Right.
You know, the way that like Jewish students might be uncomfortable. So let's do this. So let's go to this was at MIT.
Okay.
The suggestion to the Jewish students was, because they couldn't get into the building in the front because they were being blocked, Jews go in the back.
Gee,
I'm sorry.
It reminds me of something else.
Did that remind you of something?
It
What does that remind you of, Angry Mom? What does that remind you of?
I'm racking my brain. You know what else is so incredible? The hearing, Elise Stefanik, who I love you.
I love you, Elise Stefanik. Elise Stefanik, I love you. Elise Stefanik, come on the podcast.
Elise,
I don't know. Is she a mom? I don't know much about her personally.
I don't know. She has to be, because she's
officially an angry mom.
She's an angry mom of all of us. And when she was questioning those university presidents, and they kept saying, what you just said reminded me of how they were saying.
Depends on the context. It depends on the context.
So number one, Elise, I love you. Number two, those hearings had 1 billion views, 1 billion with a B. So people are aware, and I gotta believe amongst those billion, there were a few moms. Come stand with us. Let's do this.
And we are going to put all the links that we are doing together, because here's the thing. I want you to be angry. You have to be angry. This is your future. And excuse me, as parents, what do? We live for our children. We want our children to have a better life than we had. Okay.
Yes.
I'd like that for my son. So I'm going to do whatever it takes to protect what he should be able to have. Okay. So I'm angry, but I'm going to harness the power of an angry mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And we have power as angry moms, but we have even more power when we are together protecting our children. Children. Okay.
And children are our future. They are all our children. And You know, it's so interesting the hearing that with Rep Stefano. Oh, again, she is beyond
I
fabulous.
love her.
Now it's unfortunately it's been taken down. I can't find it anymore. But what someone did, someone brilliant,
Mhm.
dubbed dubbed the hearing with, instead of saying Jewish students, they made it say black and brown students. And they fully admitted this is dubbed. They wanted
Mhm.
to hear how that sounded.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, everyone should hear that and
So
realize
I
that.
okay, so
Yeah,
you went, okay, so why
well, I
why did
went.
you gasp? Why
Well,
did you gasp, Angry Monk?
but see, I gasped when it was Jewish students because I do understand. But I think
But
that,
what does that
yeah,
there was a time in
yes,
US history
yes,
where we also we were not acting well.
right,
It was not a good look. It was not a
right,
good mentality.
right.
I can't rewrite history. But you know what
Mhm.
I'm not going to do? I'm not going to ignore the history, because
Of
when you ignore
course,
history, it
you
repeats itself.
repeat it. Yeah.
So since we stopped teaching, these types of things, and I also think if you went around asking a lot of these kids who Martin Luther King was, they
Oh,
would know.
they wouldn't
Which
know.
is like, I literally, like, I felt a little bit of vomit in my throat when I said that, because it's true. So,
It's
okay, so
true.
let's go back. So we had a problem with equal rights on the,
Yeah,
the basis of skin color in this country.
right?
So people were white or black. And I was like,
Yeah.
this doesn't encompass everybody. How did you? So
That's
is it just you were like
yeah.
black or just white and other? Like, I was like, what happened to the, oh, never mind.
I know, I know. It's
Like, things baffle me because they don't make sense.
yes.
So we had this time where people who were of a darker skin tone couldn't go to school with kids who were lacking melanin, like
Yeah.
myself. By the way, I'm like the whitest member of my family in Israel, just so you know,
Wow.
because Israel is not a whitewash nation. But
Yes. Well, it's
that's
extremely
neither here nor
diverse.
there. Yeah. So, and actually, there's a well, most Jews are from the Middle East, but anyway.
Yeah.
So okay, so let's say black students. Okay, so okay, let's do this. Oh, so the university's response was, Jewish students, if you really need to go to class.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that what I'm supposed to do? Didn't I sign a code of conduct saying I would go to class, but if I missed a certain amount of classes, I
Right.
understood that I forfeit my credit, and you keep the
Right.
money because there's rules, and wait, oh my God, there's
And you
consequences for my
fail
actions. Oh my God,
classes.
mind
Yeah.
blown. So you told me, we'll just go in the back because Jews will go in the back. Okay, well, blacks will go in the back. Oh, okay, gays will go in the
Yeah.
back.
Go
Okay,
in the
Asians will go
back.
in the back.
Right.
Don't use the
Right.
front door. It's not, the front door is no longer available to you.
Right. Can you imagine? And so here's the thing I think about that dubbing is that, I mean, not so much educated people like us and people on the right and on the right side of history, but it's for those that are on the wrong side of history that feel they have to advocate for these minorities. When they hear that, they need to understand that.
Well, but here's my question. Like,
Yes,
why is it okay to tell anyone
right. It's not.
the front door is not
Yes.
available to you? You know, it's crazy in this country. We also realize that, either
Yeah.
intentionally or unintentionally, we were discriminating against those with physical disabilities. That's
Yes.
why there's this thing called the Americans with Disabilities Act. That's why there's things
Exactly.
called ramps leading
Yeah.
up to buildings. Yes,
Yeah.
there are
To
like
the
these
front
laws
door.
that if the building is historic, you don't have to do certain things, but you have to make things accessible to everyone.
Yes.
Also, if you attend the university, so you theoretically got accepted because theoretically you had like some sort of skills or knowledge, which is becoming abundantly clear to me that they're like scraping the bottom of the barrel at this point.
Absolutely.
Um, to go to this university to get an education,
Yeah.
but you agree to abide by certain rules. It's called a code of conduct. Now, if you are a student athlete, you have to sign an additional NCAA code of conduct, right? I will not, shoot up. Is that what, do they shoot steroids? I don't.
I
I
don't
will not
even
take
know.
or inject. I don't know.
I
I will
don't
not
know.
do illegal substances to enhance my,
Yes.
athletic prowess. Okay.
Right, right, right.
I
Like a
I
kid.
I also acknowledge I have to have passing grades to participate in
Yes.
these things. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
to go to graduation, to get my degree.
consequences for my actions. I
Right,
understand. Like, if
right,
I have a job and I just don't show up to it, they're going to fire me and I'm not going to get
right.
paid.
Well, and I don't know why these
That's
universities,
life.
yeah, these universities, and again, this is why they're wearing masks, need to find out the identity of all of these, and I'm using
Well,
quote, protesters, and they don't get a
yeah.
degree, and they go home,
So
and there's no
here's the
refund,
thing.
but they're not because it's
There,
intentional. They want it.
yes. Now, there is a movement. I do know some people who are working very hard to saying, okay, you want to continue to allow the protest, then you have to stop the masks because
Yeah.
it's a safety issue. Now, if you are someone who has broken into a building,
Yeah.
I don't care what reason you think you have for breaking into it's breaking
Right.
and entering. It's a crime. Unfortunately, the city of New York apparently has no bail. Like they just
Yeah.
let
No
people
cash
go no matter
bail.
what
Yeah.
you do, which is like
Yeah. Yeah.
beyond
No
bizarre, but
cash.
okay.
No cash bail.
And all of the protesters know it. Like they're on camera going, "I'll see you in a few hours."
Yeah. Exactly.
And they have no intention. They have no intention of showing up to any court dates. Because like
Not.
they
No
know that no
consequence.
one's really going to be able to prove any of it.
Right.
So because we didn't actually book them and we didn't actually do what we need to do, and they really need to learn. But I'm going to harness my power of as a mom, as an angry mom, and I'm going to do a few things. Now, you, again, awesome. You were like, no, F this. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
I want to also just say, in case I'm going to preempt this
Yeah.
possibility, and I doubt it's going to happen because I don't have that many people that listen to the entire podcast that hate me and send me death threats.
Yeah.
And by the way, keep them coming because every time I get one, I donate to a Jewish charity. And to those of my listeners who have but
Good.
also it's a charity in Israel. It's a nonprofit in Israel because I feel like that's just an even bigger smack. But and that's not my idea. I took it from a friend, Hillel Fool. That's what he does, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's brilliant. That's what I'll do. And thank you to those listeners who have continued to help me with the GoFundMe page because I actually need help making the donations because I am a single mom and I do all of this myself. It's like self-funded crusade
Yeah.
here. But that also helps me help more people. So thank you for those of you who donate to my
Good. That's
GoFundMe.
a
And
really
again,
good. Yeah.
right, these shirts, the Bahat's the fucking Kosh shirts, and some
Yeah.
other shirts that are in the making, all of the profits go to
Yes.
all the proceeds go to the nonprofits in Israel. So the shirts are
Yes.
$25. They're you guys just have to DM me for that, and I will send them to you and everything. But
Love it.
that being said, so I'm going to harness my anger and do something about it because there's power to that. We
There
have
is.
started we started another Instagram page in honor of you. Power
Thank you. I love it.
_of_angry_moms because
I
we
love
want
it.
to be a resource for one another.
We
There
need
is
to be.
strength in numbers. And this
Yeah.
is a strong freaking country.
It is.
Okay? Men
It
and
is.
women are serving our country and they deserve not to be spit on.
Yeah.
Our children deserve to be able to go to a university and not worry that their Black friend or their gay friend or their Jewish friend or their Hindu
Yes.
friend is going to be assaulted, spit on, have
Right.
their Judaic or Israeli regalia taken from them.
Yes.
By
Can
the
you
way,
imagine?
go ahead and spit on me and you'll see what happens. So I have a son. You've talked about your daughter. I have a
Yes.
son. He is 16. And I took the stand. You know how you said you made a very painful decision as a family
Yeah.
to not consider
Not
a
consider my alma
university,
mater.
yes, and as a legacy. So I
Yes.
think that's even more of a sting.
A double legacy. She'd be a double legacy.
That's like, yeah, but you're like,
So-
I'm sorry, until you can find your values again,
Yes.
I will not allow my child
No.
to do this, and you will not get a dime of my money.
No.
So I had
100%.
put I put that statement out there, and I was actually contacted by Fox News, and I was interviewed by them, and I said, I remember looking at colleges and thinking, what's important to me? Location,
Yeah.
how big are the classes? I didn't really care about, like, even though I'm a very athletic person and I love sports, I didn't need my college to have like a basketball team. Like I didn't really care if it had that. I was more concerned about the major. What are the program of studies that are available to me? What is the campus life like?
Right.
What was important to me? Do they have a Hillel, the Jewish organization? If not, is there reciprocity with another university close by?
Yes.
I thought about those things. I also thought about the distance from home, even though I couldn't wait to get out of my house. I love my parents, but it's every, kid, you have to kind of do the little independent thing. But I also was like, oh, I don't want to be like a flight away. What if something happens, right?
Right?
So all of those things were things that I looked at and discussed with my parents.
Yep.
Never. I mean, okay, city versus like a more rural suburban, like,
Yes.
maybe some people are more concerned about, oh, it's not safe in a city or something. I don't know.
Yes.
Like, ooh,
Yeah.
I got really excited there. Those are things that normal families look at.
Right.
So
But
I
now
said to
we have
Fox, I
to
said, I'm sorry. I have to decide, are you allowing Jewish students to be victimized,
right.
threatened?
And you
Let's
sue them.
not forget Columbia also locked out the Israeli Jewish professor.
Yeah.
They locked him out. They took away his ID no longer scanned, and they said their
That
lame
is
excuse days later was, "Oh, it's for your safety."
for your safety. You know what?
I'm sorry, what? But
For your safety, that
no.
actually kind of harkens back to a memory I have too of wasn't that said when the Jews were forced to wear stars
Into
or
the
to
ghettos?
Yep. Wasn't it for their safety?
Oh yeah.
I think it
Lie
was.
Fool me once, shame on you.
Yep.
Fool me twice, shame on me.
That's a and I think too parents have to look at number one before anything else you mentioned, the values of that university and use that tool, Google, where are they getting their money from?
Where's the money coming from?
And there is only one university. In fact, they are having like a prospective student event this coming Thursday in Oak Brook, Illinois, and I'm going. Hillsdale is the only university that gets no government funding. They receive zero public funding. And
So I'm
they
glad you're saying that,
yes,
because I think a lot of people don't know, Angry Mom, that
they don't.
every single university, whether it's a state school or a private
Yeah.
university, does get federal funding. When
Mhm.
you're a state
Mhm.
school, you get more funding, but everyone gets federal
Yes.
funding because they're supposed to adhere to these crazy things that we call laws,
Right. And
like
also
the
being
Americans with Disabilities Act, freedom
right.
of,
Yep.
but they're not. But if they
Right.
are receiving these funds, they have to abide. This is
Yeah.
okay. Like, you give me money, I agree to do this.
Yes.
But they're not. So this one university was like, for whatever reason, they're like, no, we're just not. We don't need your money. Keep
Yep.
it.
Yep.
So they're having an open thing. So, I'm
Yes.
happy. I don't know anything about them, but if you
Oh,
vetted them and you
mhm.
say they're good, then I'm happy to put the link on the
I have
podcast.
more than vetted them, and I'll send you the link. And they do
Okay.
this around the country as well. And I
Oh,
tell
cool.
you,
Well, I was
they
going to say, I hope so,
yeah.
because not everyone lives near that
No, no, no,
area
no.
of
They are in
Illinois.
Hillsdale, Michigan. And the other
I
thing
was like,
about
I don't know where it
Hillsdale,
is.
no, Hillsdale, Michigan. The other thing that's so interesting about them is they offer free online courses on things that are super important, like the Constitution, including the Bill of Rights. So I know a lot of times and we all are
What?
arguing with liberals, I always say, oh, sweetie, bless your heart. You probably want to look at Hillsdale's free class on the
Yeah.
Constitution. I will send the link over because they are an American university promoting dun 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 American values. And when I look at
Mm,
Northwestern, they are no longer promoting American values. These universities are supposed to be pillars of Western civilization.
no, not anymore.
And so another call to action before actually I have to go is that we, the people, have the power to defund these universities. There's
Yes.
many things you can do, but number one, for the love of God, please, if you are sending them money, stop. But
Yes.
more importantly, when you stop, make sure you email them and let them know why. Okay,
On
stop.
the record.
And then if they are getting federal funding and you see that these universities are not upholding American values, which again is pretty easy to see, email your public servants. They are
Hmm.
public servants, your elected public servants, and ask them to defund these universities. It doesn't have to be you. And again, lastly, the most important two things before I think we have to close: do not send your children to these woke universities. Do not do it. And again, the power is in your hands. Google, where are these universities getting their money from? What values do they uphold? Have they welcomed any of these encampments on their universities? If they had, it's not just your Jewish student. I don't think any student will be safe there. Like right now, obviously, targeting Jewish students. Who's next?
I mean, I love being first and everything, but
I know. It's an honor. Well, and when you look at the type and the education level of the people that are protesting, it is an honor, really. But what group are they going to target next? Is it going to be
so
women?
well, Angry Mom, see, you're a learned person and you will
Thank
actually know
you.
this. So they're crazy, but during World War II,
Mhm.
during the Holocaust, yes, Jews were like the most targeted, but so were other groups. And there was this guy, a man of the cloth, Pastor Martin Niemöller. Very
Okay.
famous quote. He said, and he literally goes through and says, like, first they came, if I reverse
Yeah,
the
I
order of this, I'm
remember this
sorry. Feel
quote.
free to Google. First they came for the trade unionists, and I wasn't a trade unionist,
Right.
so not it. Didn't say anything. Then they came for the communists, and I said nothing because I was not a communist.
Right.
And then they came for the Jews, and I said nothing because
I'm
I
not
was
a
not a Jew. And then they came for me,
for me. That's it.
and there was no one left to speak for
That's
me.
it.
So,
That's it.
all of you angry moms out there, use the power that you have. If you're unsure or you're even feeling that you are unsafe to do these things, please contact us through the Instagram page or any of the
Yes.
links that are going to be up on this podcast. We are going to be putting out there resources on how to be more
Yes.
aware of your surroundings. Even the
Yes.
most aware people are not really that aware. I
Yes.
have a friend who is a Krav Maga expert, a former IDF trained person,
Yes.
who is going to be giving us some tips on just knowing your awareness for your
Yes.
children, for you, inside, outside, all of these things, just understanding. Okay.
Yeah.
But use this power wisely. We are here to help one another.
We are.
I've had some people reach out, saying, I'm at this, we live by this university, or
Yes.
our child is at that university. And this is what we're seeing, and we need help.
We'll help
Okay.
you.
We will help you. This is a movement. We are going to take back our country. If we do not speak up, and this is not about me being a Jewish mom, and it's not about me being Zionist AF, this is about me, a person, a mother, an American who's like, oh, hell no, this
Yeah.
is not the country I grew up in, and I will not allow this to happen.
Right.
I will not allow these animals like the squad, who are Hamas supporters,
Yes. Oh,
to say it's
fun.
okay to target Jews. I'm sorry, you're so, like, I didn't think it was possible for them to be uglier inside than outside, but they
Oh,
are.
it is.
And ignorant as AF. Ignorant AF.
Ignorant. Yeah.
You are not an American.
No.
You are not a human, and I will not allow monsters to ruin the country that is the most powerful country in the world. People used to look to the U.S. as a leader.
Yes.
When the U.S. was strong, there was peace in the world because the U.S. was strong.
Absolutely.
We need to, I don't know, let me say it bluntly, grow a pair. Men,
Yeah.
grow a pair. Find it. Not like the guy
Find it.
who was screaming in one of the videos attacking the Jewish students, grabbing his crotch every time he screamed. And I kept saying, this is my narration. Did they come? Did they come? They told me if I keep screaming hateful things, they'll drop. I'll finally get balls.
I know.
I'm
Well,
pretty sure there was no cock there either. But anyway,
there's
we need to be together.
Yes.
We need to stand up for ourselves and our children and our children's children. Bizrat Hashem, we all become grandmas.
Yes.
One day, not so anytime soon.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Have children when you're ready to take care of them.
Thank you.
Later in life.
Much later.
Want to see, but I want to see that day happen.
I
and
do
it's
too.
not going to happen if we allow monsters to
Yeah.
take America hostage. And by the way, guys, just because they're screaming for my blood in the street today doesn't mean they're not screaming for your blood tomorrow.
100%.
You are considered infidels in America.
You
A
are.
worldwide intifada means the killing of all the men, the enslaving of the women.
Yes.
This is not what you want. They will no longer do that. You know what? Teach your children the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes.
Teach them to stand. Teach them to take off their hats during the Star-Spangled Banner.
Yes.
Teach them freaking respect of one another. Teach them respect of all of those
Absolutely.
who give up. And any mom who's involved with like the armed services or first responders, please reach out to us, because
Yes.
we want you to know that we respect what you do as a mom, as a wife, as whatever it is that you are, that like we need
Yes.
to do this together. These are our children, and this is our country, and this is our future. So fangirl time, you know, thank you so much, Angry Mom.
Of course.
We're listen, things are moving fast, so we're going to come up with
Yes.
we are going to have Angry Mom swag, guys.
I
Okay.
love it.
We are going to do that. We're going to pool our resources of those who are far more talented at this.
Yes.
I did do this though. I'm proud of this. I am proud of this. But we are going to have stuff so that you can feel empowered. We are going to have a place for you guys to go. We are also going to have like
Yes.
other groups where you need to chat privately. You can DM me. You can DM the other admins. We are here as angry moms doing what is right, protecting our children and our future.
Yeah. And you know what? We cannot be the first generation to leave our children worse off than we were.
Yes.
You're
Yes.
supposed to allow them to inherit a country greater because of what you did, greater than you did.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this. I saw a sign. It said it was like a billboard. I have to be able to tell my children I didn't stay silent.
Absolutely. That's
So
it.
on that note, I have to be able to tell our children.
Yes.
We all need to be able to say to our children, we did not stay silent. We did something. And I want to officially thank you and leave you with this thought. Yesterday, I had on the Bow sisters. Their parents were Schindler's List survivors. Yeah, amazing. You're going to see that. And by the way, they have a museum in Tel Aviv. Like it's.
Let's go.
Oh, you're coming. We're going to talk after. But
Yes.
they said to me, our father and mother told us it is our responsibility to be kind. It is our responsibility to bring joy. It is our responsibility to do what's right every day.
It is. Amen.
That is our responsibility as moms. Angry mom.
Yep.
No air quotes for this one. This is just a heart. So guys, again, please, if you're going to like come on the pages and try to hunt people's identities down, I will come at you. Do not do that. Okay. We are doing this together. Okay. So anyone who needs help, wants help, can offer help, you are welcome.
100%.
You know what, Angry Mom? God bless you.
And God bless you.
And God bless America and Israel, because we together will fight for all of humanity.